Our next speaker is Juan Uribe, who will be speaking with us about the evolution of lateral cases.
Oh, wow. Good morning. So let's give you a little bit of a tour about the lateral and the evolution of lateral surgery. Okay, so I like this one a lot. I showed it in a couple of meetings. So I want to get started making an analogy between interbody fusion and music, and then we take it from there. So let's start with the pliff, okay? What is the pliff? The pliff is like old. It's very hard to make it work. I remember the cassettes, Just good luck if you're trying to make a cassette work nowadays. It was amazing in these days, So let's go to the A-leaf. I love it. It's vintage, it's cool. It do the job. Once in a while, you take it out and do a really good job. But then we go into the T-leaf. This is the best description of T-leaf. Just imagine J-Lo, Christina Aguilera, all these things of the 90s, like a basically antiquated, correct? So, and then we have the lateral, Spotify, Apple Music, this is the way to go. So I'm gonna take it from here, So let's see actually how the lateral surgery evolved, okay? So one of the big things on lateral is this, This is the way that lateral surgery works for, You put a cage, as you see in 4-5 there, you increase the disc of the height, you reduce the spondy with screws or with the interbody, and then you walk away, no laminectomies, no foraminotomies, clean shot, Really good way to do it. However, it's complicated, but if you start pushing on this technique, you can end up doing this type of surgery. You see here, this is probably, I would say, the most challenging surgery that a spine surgeon can have. This is like the petroclival meningioma for the skull-based guys, yeah? So big, giant, calcified, and thanks to the lateral access to the spine, we're able to handle these ones, I would say, in a clean way, You can tell me here that you will do endoscopy in this and that. I would like to see a case like this manage endoscopy with pre and post MRI, pre and post CTs, So anyway, so this is how you can push these techniques and how can deliver. But everything started with this guy, Dr. Pimenta, in Brazil, conceptualizing how can I get the spine from the side and get something on there. So, and after that, which really made this surgery a success was this. We put together actually a dedicated society only around the procedure. And this one was around 2006. We have an annual research meeting, a couple of friends doing the same surgery, sharing their experiences. We put a database and we shared all the complications. And this is actually, a lot of these ones are mine. This is any known complication that a lateral surgeon can have, And what we did, we sit together, we talk about them, we see how they happen, how can we make them better. And once we knew that, we start publishing on that, and we let everybody in the spine world, this is what happened when you have this surgery, you have this complication, that's why you can do it. I was lucky that I was early enough, like Neil and all the others in here, and we start, putting this surgery together. But which is interesting is that along the line, we learn things. For example, we know that we have to retract the femoral nerve, and the femoral nerve was not actually in 2, 3, and 3, 4 level. Actually, the big deal was when we were doing 4, 5, and we tried to understand, and then we also figured out that just opening the skin and getting access, we start having these weird hernias that we didn't have an explanation, and we found out that these little nerves coming from subcostal area and the iliolingual and lumbar, you get that. But then complications were there, and the number one complication of lateral surgery, which is the lumbar plexus injury, we were having a lot of hard time with this, and we're like, how can we control this? And by getting again all the group of friends together, we find out that it was all about controlling variables. And when you go in lateral, it doesn't matter pre-transpsoas, you name it, the number one complication is still the lumbar plexus injury. And then in order to do that, we find out that as long as you retract the plexus from front to back, and as long as the time of retraction is too much, and as long as you don't open this retractor like this, then you start minimizing and controlling the complications.
And that was basically the whole setup, and everybody started doing it, and everybody wanted to do it. But and we start extending the applications, and nowadays we're using degen, tumor, trauma, infection, deformity, you name it. But then the situation is this, when we saw that even after this, only 20% the people that we were trying to train it on lateral, they were adopting it. Obviously, there is something going on with this surgery, yeah? So when you're a lateral surgeon, you want to make sure that everybody does lateral. It doesn't become this little cult of guys in here that, and then we said, well, so what happened? There was the lumbar plexus injuries, the unfamiliar position, patients on lateral position, which everybody was trained in prone. And also a lot of times we had to flip the patient from lateral to prone, which to be honest is a pain on the rear, yeah? So, and then we said, well, what about start doing quotation, single position surgery? And this is actually a marketing effort, because if you talk to Lou Tumialan, what is the best single position surgery? It's actually a T-leaf, yeah? It's a single position surgery, you do 360, everything there. But if you want to do lateral surgery and take advantage of the lateral implants, then single position is efficient, can be give a good quality, and can reduce costs. And when you're looking here, this was basically the current single position surgery. Put the patient on lateral. Jay showed one of the cases, Praveen actually. But the problem is that everybody knows, put screws in lateral position is not the way that you do it. Prone position is the way that the screws are meant to be, And then also doing a very complex case is complicated. So then we say, what is next on lateral position? And obviously, as you know, we went, what about from lateral to prone? And this is, obviously, as always, Dr. Pimenta leading that, and also the Italians, Pedro Bergiano, and others start trying to figure it out how the prone works. And, 1920, we start, playing around, trying to do the first experience on that. But then when you're looking here, this is a really good proposition. And, while you're doing a direct decompression, which one of the limitations on lateral surgery is patients that are in direct decompression doesn't work. And at the same time, you have the surgeon doing the access. Obviously, this is a very unique cases where you have favor anatomy, but as we know, putting the patient in prone, you start suddenly getting lordosis, but then we need to start playing around with the monitoring. Can we have a different monitoring system? Can we try then? And then go there on the retractors. The retractor, instead of the 3-4 blades, we start, what about a different retractor? So you see all these little incremental changes can make now a redefine and a way to do it, and we're still doing it. I'm going to show you, for example, what I think is the ideal case scenario for prone lateral surgery. This patient, adjacent segment, someone did some fusion though, then someone decided to do a standalone lateral at 3-4, and then develop this to 3 as you see a big disc. So obviously, indirect decompression is not going to work in here. It's going to need that disc needs to come out, but you want to put a nice, robust interbody fusion, and then you have to revise the hardware on the back. So you put on the prone. For example, we are now integrating navigation in the prone lateral works great. I'm going to show you why. If you're looking here in this video, if I do a little bit of close-up, when you do navigating the prones, it's nice that you can pick where in the psoas muscle you make your entry. Putting the patient in prone kind of bring the muscle too high. So the ability to find where you pierce the muscle or how anterior you go is a really good tool, and navigation actually helps with that. And this is just showing the case how you see you go at the same time and do a laminectomy, you decompress, you do the ischectomy, and you make kind of this a procedure using here before and after on the top, you decompress, you keep the balance. And so we think the prone lateral is powerful, efficient, but however, this has to keep evolving. And just to finish, don't forget this. Thanks very much, guys.